No, that's our best player. That's our
land.
best player.
Let
How
me
can
land.
he?
Crazy. And
Let me land.
crazy, and I don't know how we let him go into it.
Let me land.
Bro, like,
Let me
stop
land.
the whole thing
Land
now.
our fence. Yo guys, welcome back to another video of TFW. Today we have a very interesting one. We all know the January transfer window is coming up. So of course, the team that's performing abysmally in the league, those Red Devils. What are we going to do with the Red Devils?
Stop.
Well, I mean, we're sixth place. We're the most informed team in the league right now, but okay, fine. Cool.
Anyways, we're going to be debating 2 players, is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
2 players we are going to buy to fix United and 1 player we're going to let go of. So, Raf, as you are the only United fan
One
in
player
here,
we'll let go of, yeah?
Yeah,
2
one
players
player.
will buy. Okay, cool.
who are you going to, first of all, buy?
Who would I buy?
And make it realistic, yeah? You don't have like Sheikman sauce back in, so...
Yeah, of course.
Cool.
The 2 players that I think, the 2 positions that need fixing the most are the right wing position. Even though we do have some youth, I think we need some real quality there. And a toss up between centre back and centre mid. And I'm going to say, centre back.
Okay.
I'm going to say centre back. I was thinking between Guy and De Ligt, and I would go with De Ligt.
Oh, Gehi at Palace.
Yeah, Gay. Is it Gay or
yeah,
Guy? Gay.
Gehi, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go for De Ligt. De Ligt at Bayern, he's not getting enough minutes at the moment.
Okay.
There's been rumours that he could be leaving the club. I don't know if he would go to United, but I think it's someone that we should be going for.
Ten Hag does know him. He did work with him in the Ajax.
At Ajax, yeah, he's a young player and great ability. And in right wing, I would go for Gnabry.
Ooh,
at Bayern.
Former Arsenal player.
I would go for Gnabry. I don't think he would want to, but I think it's not a far from realistic signing for us.
Because there was talk of him leaving last year, I think even the year before.
Okay.
And yeah, he is good.
Yeah. I'm sure he would want to come back to the Premier League.
I think there was talk of where was it? The season before Pepe left of us getting him, but it just wasn't realistic because obviously that's Saka's position and it wouldn't hinder and whatnot.
It's not
but
someone who's going to want to be on the bench. Yeah.
So who would you sell?
So, the first player I'm selling is Sancho. I think he's probably the player that we can sell that would get the most value from, the most money from, because he is a decent player. There is a decent guy in him.
Okay.
But I just feel as though what I've learned from him is he doesn't care enough about United. There's some things you sacrifice, which is your pride as well.
Maybe.
If you care about the club. And whether he's right or wrong in like what he said, the statement he put online, either way, if you want to play for the club that badly, you're gonna say sorry and play. And you're gonna show us that you love the club.
That's a fair enough argument.
Yeah.
What about you, PB?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I do hear that. And
let's start with who you'd sell first, actually.
yeah, so I'm quite similar on that point where I believe there's an issue on the right wing, but the right wing that I have an issue with is Anthony. He's the person I'll sell. So he's gone for Sancho, I've gone for Anthony, which is why I was quite eager to jump in there. Personally, I think I'm selling Anthony because even though he doesn't have those personal problems with the manager,
He's got other problems.
He's got footballing problems. He's just not good
Serious
enough.
footballing problems.
You hear these pundits talk about he's just not Manchester United quality. He's just not Manchester United quality about so many different players.
He's not Premier League quality.
I think that's extreme to say.
That's
perhaps,
wild.
And that's quite harsh on him.
That's mad.
But I do not think that I think he's far from Manchester United quality. And although he's young and he can perhaps have time to develop into that, he just isn't even showing the glimpses of being...
I'll say one thing.
Yeah, go on.
Do you know who Anton Semenyo is?
Yeah, I do.
For Bournemouth?
Yeah.
You know he has more goals than him?
I'm not surprised.
That's
But I'm not surprised
having more goals, like,
but
it's
let's
not just about
goals
that.
because I've actually been... Not that I watched Bournemouth's full
Say calm.
Not that I watch all of Bournemouth's games, yeah, but when I do pick up on the highlights, who are the players that I'm seeing get involved in the game and make differences? It's Semenyo. It is actually him. He should probably have scored a couple more chances than he actually has goals for. But
he knows it as well.
I agree, man. And with players like Anthony, you look at them and you think, why have United got Anthony and not got someone like Jared Bowen, for example?
Exactly.
Or like players who don't have the flashy name, like, they're not Brazilian or whatever, but like are actually more effective in the league.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think we should sell him yet though, because I think for the price we bought him for, and he's only had 1 season, I think to sell him now would be
Yeah,
wouldn't make sense.
I do hear that, and I do understand obviously your points, your concerns with Sancho, but I just feel like Sancho probably on a footballing wise, of course, I think he's more favoured on the left. If you see the way where he was actually when he was actually playing well, I think he could work in that Ten Hag system because he's not. He's shown that his pace isn't the best suited for the Premier League, but his link-up play is very good.
Yeah.
Some like where his head at and the style of football that he's trying to play, I actually think he could do well if Ten Hag was able to implement his system. And Anthony, of course, he's shown that he's been able to work him at Ajax, but just footballing wise, I don't think he's that level. And then that kind of goes on to who I'd actually sign.
Okay.
So, I was, even though it goes to my point where I'm saying I don't mind losing Anthony because I think Sancho can do the job. I feel like you can plug in gaps in other areas.
Okay.
So where the two players that I thought you'd sign should be Todibo because obviously I feel like he's a good centre back. He's a centre back where you're looking for the future as well instead of relying on players like Johnny Evans. I feel like that's kind of where my main issues lie. I feel like I respect him as a player, but it's just not when we talk about in previous videos about how Man United should be thinking overall and how their transfer policy should be and how Chelsea's is like based by age, United should be going more down towards that route and signing players more of that profile. It's not to say get rid of Harry Maguire or get rid of I feel like a couple players on the fringes could get cut, but I just feel like they should plug the gaps in those areas. And then another player that I definitely think United should sign, and this might seem wild, is Osimhen. I know you've just got Hojlund, or however you pronounce his name. I know he's, Højlund, sorry. I know he's like, promising striker for the future. But I feel like Osimhen could come in now, have the impact that you need, score goals, and put up those numbers. I mean, Højlund, he's 009 in the Premier League. And I'm not getting
and also
Champions
League top goal scorer.
Okay, and exactly, and I'm not trying to get on to him or make any jokes. Of course, it's a slide thing, but at the same time, I just feel like that's not what he needs right now. He shouldn't have that pressure on him to score the goals. Put Osimhen in there, who's showing his level, and and let him try and.
So what would you sign Osimhen even though we already have Højlund?
Yeah, I still would.
Really?
He's got Chelsea out on, that's why. He just buy everyone. He just buys everyone.
Well,
Chelsea.
of course, Chelsea.
I do feel like it is somewhat realistic though, because I was saying that United should have been in the market for Harry Kane last season.
Yeah,
they should have.
Yeah.
Harry Kane and Osimhen were above Højlund on my list.
Yeah, exactly. If you're talking in priorities of players that you should have got.
Yeah.
But how about you?
I think for me, so I'm going to start up front as well. I think they should definitely get another striker. And I feel like they should get a striker that's kind of different to the profile of Højlund. And I know people might liken him to, okay, well, he's got similar playing styles to an early Martial. But I feel like just what he's shown already, especially in the Champions League against us, and what he did last year for, can't remember. I think it was Montpellier last year. Yeah. Eli Wahi, French striker. He's about 20 years of age. He scored about 20 goals last season in Liga. He's gone to
linked to Chelsea as well.
Exactly, he's linked to Chelsea as well.
I think Chelsea definitely wanted him, but then we were potentially trying to send him to Strasbourg.
Exactly, and he didn't want to step down to Strasbourg.
Yeah.
But he's at Lens right now, and he's playing well. He's bagging. Like I said, he bagged against us in the Champions League. He bagged again in the Champions League. I feel like he's a good striker who has a lot of potential, and he's not one of those strikers where it's kind of like Højlund, where he's built like a target man. But I feel like Højlund is still trying to figure out what sort of striker he is. Whereas Eli Wahi, he knows that, listen, I will dribble at any defender and I will bag. I can score inside the box, I can score outside the box. Put it in the air, I'm jumping. And for someone so young as well, I feel like United, yeah, cool. And I feel like he's got that persona where he's like, once he steps into that team, I don't think he's going to feel the pressure of United, personally.
I do hear that, but I also feel like, is that the route that United should be going on, though? Two kind of young strikers where
if we're going to get another striker now, it needs to be...
That's why I said, if you're going to get another striker, it's someone who, cool, Osimhen might be high stakes, might be a high bet, but it's somebody who you want to make impact immediately. People are viewing one of the best strikers currently. Eli Wahi, potential, but
you know it is? Højlund, potential. And what I'm saying is that I feel like United need to get away from the finished product and actually invest time into a lot of players. Because if you have two players...
You can have a balance of that. You were talking about instant impact.
No, I get it, but you have a lot of experience in your team already. So I feel like it's fine if you have... Yeah, you do.
In the front line?
No, I'm just saying in your team in general.
But in the front line, we need experience. That's why we're not scoring goals.
Not necessarily.
Because they don't make the right decisions.
Not necessarily. I feel like if you have two young strikers, going toe to toe in whilst they're learning. Not only are they gonna learn from each other, but that's gonna build up that
But
hunger and competition.
That might not be the outcome, though.
Yeah.
Toe to toe might not be the outcome.
We've
The
had
outcome
that.
might
We've had
be
that for
the-
years.
the
Like,
outcome-
with who?
Martial, Rashford, all these
Rashford
players.
is not a striker.
No, but
Yeah,
fair
but
enough.
he had seasons as a striker.
Yeah,
and-
but let's be real. Rashford, everyone knows this. Rashford prefers playing off to the left.
Yeah.
His best games, best football, best seasons off
I
of the
agree.
left.
But I feel like initially he was even undecided on that himself.
Yeah.
Until he found it out.
And that's what I'm saying. If you have two strikers that know their strikers, that know their own game,
I hear it.
I
But
feel like
but
it'll work.
It's not definite though. Like
It's
for
not-
example,
it's not definite, but nothing's
example,
definite.
I hear your point about they know what they are, but kind of when Chelsea signed certain players who to play attacking positions, we didn't get the results that we wanted from them. So
Yeah.
I just feel like you're more better and assured going off the Shaw product.
Also,
I hear that.
if you
Yeah.
look at the players we've had recently, the times when United have done best is when we've had a striker of a good age who can actually, like for example, Mourinho and Ibrahimovic.
even Lukaku did decent.
Even Lukaku was
Okay,
decent.
The
bro.
thing is, I was just going off
Cavani
of.
didn't do too bad himself.
yeah.
I think what you need to do is sort of go away from what you've done in the past that has
and try
been
to go on a different route.
exactly.
Cool.
So that's what I was going with up front.
Mm.
But for the second signing, I was torn between two positions. Honestly, I was thinking maybe a CDM. I was thinking potentially a centre back. I was even thinking about a left back. But the one player I've gone with is, well, I'm tied between two players. If I'm honest with you, but same position.
Have you said who you're selling again?
Oh no, I'm going to say that afterwards
that's
because
fair.
that one's going to for CDM, I would say either Martin Zubimendi from Real Sociedad, or I'd say Ismail Benacer from AC Milan.
Okay.
The reason I say those two players, I know they're very different in terms of obviously they play the same position, but they play it
Style.
differently.
Mm.
Zubimendi is more of he's a very much a Spanish CDM, and when I say a Spanish CDM, is that he will take care of possession. Yes, he does the defensive work as well, but you're not going to really expect to see him up the pitch. And I feel like United might need that sort of, I don't want to say regista, but regista vibes or deep lying playmaker next to Casemiro, who's more of a destroyer, more of an anchor for that defense, and obviously does occasionally make the boom and run up front. But that's why I said Benacer as well, because Benacer from the Arsenal Academy, he plays. He's actually kind of similar to what Liverpool would need in a sense where he's almost like an all-round midfielder. He has very good dribbling. In the tight positions, he's good to, press proven. We know that. Defensively, he's very good. And I feel like because he is quite diminutive in stature, it helps him in the CDM role because it's when you look at players like Kante, Kimmich, even Torreira that one season he was at Arsenal, those types of players in CDM do quite well if they have a good defensive mind. And I feel like Benacer has that. And he's actually relatively young, because I think he's 24. So it'd give him time to not only learn the defensive side from someone experienced like Casemiro, but then also say, you know what? I am the CDM to take the torch from
a young
Casemiro.
CDM is something that we definitely need.
That's what I was gonna say. But
been wanting that.
But that might fit a good direction the club should go in. But kind of, do you think, just as a question, do you think that it will work in Ten Hag's system?
I think it will, because we all know. I think he wants to play a 4-3-3, right?
Yeah.
And he wants to have essentially kind of the same way Arsenal have midfield three in terms of your holding midfielder and like your two number 8s, both creative in their own right. Am I right in saying that for Ten Hag?
Sort of, yeah.
So I think Benacer and Zubimendi will allow him to do that because they both have enough not only technical ability but footballing ability as well, and to play that 8 that is almost like a box to box. They can do it. They can do the defensive side, and if they want to, come in at the edge of the box for maybe a corner or cross or whatever, they can get involved.
But so who are the two midfielders that you think will complement best currently at United? Like either of them, who do you think they'll complement best?
What do you mean?
Who do you want your midfield three?
Three to be, yeah.
Oh, out of one of the signings?
No, who would they accompany? So who would be the two other midfielders?
In my mind, it would be Casemiro, Zubimendi or Benacer, and Mount.
So Bruno doesn't make it in.
And that goes on to who I'd sell. I think I'd sell Bruno Fernandes.
Scott the whole thing down. That's our best player. That's our best player.
Let
How
me
can
land.
he?
Brazy.
Let me land.
Brazy, and I don't know how we let him go into it.
Let me land.
Bro, like,
Let me
Scott
land.
the whole thing
Can I know
down.
my offense? Let me land, please.
Handle.
Cool.
Hand.
So there's two reasons why I say that you should sell Bruno. One is because El Ittifaq are actually interested and want to sign him in January for 100 mil, which I
Rumours,
feel like,
but okay.
yeah, rumors. But if there is something to it,
If it's that price tag,
exactly
let's get talking,
for 100
bro.
mil, you should be talking. Second of all, the reason why I say that is because yes, I do believe he is your best player. However, I feel like he is part of the. You know when Mourinho said there was a virus, and he said that Pogba was one of the viruses in the dressing room. I feel like Bruno Fernandes is that as well. And the reason why I say
I
that,
feel
let me
that's a bit
land,
harsh.
let me land. The reason why I say this is
That's why
because
they've all made him captain. Yeah.
as your captain, no. As your captain, there's no way that once you start losing, he is the one that is throwing fits. He is the one that's throwing his toys out the pram, the one that loses his head, gets bookings, and then starts crying. Did you see the video of him the other day after the Copenhagen game, sitting on the stairs, crying like a 5-year-old?
No. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a drag. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Bro,
Because
it was, bro, did you watch the game?
I did watch the game.
Okay, so you can get how he's feeling, bro. He's feeling stressed out.
I get
you
it.
know what? Yeah,
I get it.
You're
But
the
you know
only
you
person
are?
I've heard say that. I've heard so many United fans look at that and say, you know what? I'm happy we saw that because that's what I need.
Shows he
because
cares.
it shows he cares, bro.
But
Like,
look,
a lot of the time, bro, we've
why
been
you
thinking these
separating
players
yourself from
don't
the
care.
squad? You're a leader. I don't give a toss.
I understand.
No,
As
you
a
don't know
leader.
when that was. What do you mean separating himself? That might have been obviously they're not going to be with each other for the whole time after.
Regardless
bro.
of what you say, I do understand. I do have some reservations about his leadership qualities and his personality in general. I don't really like players like that too much.
Exactly.
That personality, but sometimes if they're on your team, you're gonna love them.
I
Because
hear it.
he really does care about Manchester United and getting the best result for himself and also for the club.
Bro, I fully understand that.
And I just don't get why you'd sell
The reason
that.
why I'd sell him is because I would make Mount your creator in chief. I know we haven't seen the best of Mount in the past few months, but Mount at Chelsea, under Lampard, especially, the guy was balling out.
He did win back
You
to
can't-
back.
you can't do that,
We
though,
know what
because-
Mount. No, listen. We know what Mount can do. And the
Yeah.
thing is, the reason why I'd also say that you should sell Bruno Fernandes is because even when we sold Sanchez, when we sold Aubameyang,
You bounce back.
when we sold Özil, it was a thing where it's like, bro, this is like our best player. What the
That's
hell?
true. That's a good
Aubameyang
point.
was scored. If it wasn't Aubameyang scoring, no one was scoring. But we sold that player because we know that
There was a reason why you
for the
sold
greater good.
those
I
players.
do understand, but to some
It's
extent,
different,
to
man.
some extent, even selling the Aubameyang, can you equate it to maybe selling the Ronaldo? I know it's obviously different people.
It's
at
a different
spots,
thing.
but
Yeah,
you
it's
lose
a
the
thing of
you know,
like.
you lose
yeah.
something.
It's
but
a thing of what do you value in the team, and you have to look at like the attitude, them getting along with the manager. Aubameyang didn't get along with Arteta in the end. His attitude was obviously off. It's a different thing with Bruno. Yes, Bruno, I get what you mean. You guys sold players of quality, and it was still fine for us. Yeah, the people who have a problem with Bruno are a few old United players. Yeah, a couple, a small section of the fans. But then other than that, is every other fan, bro, of other clubs. The actual United fans can see what Bruno gives to. Yeah, of course, bro. Everyone has their flaws. And the way Bruno gets when he starts crying like a bitch on the pitch, yeah, cool. We get it. Bro, no one likes that.
it's poor.
But the other good things, all right, the good things about him, yeah, they overshadow that, bro. And it's worth it, bro. Like, he's such a good player. How can you sell the player who makes the most chances?
I'm not even saying he's bad. I didn't say he's bad at all. All I'm saying is that Mount is too good to be an understudy. Yeah.
Should we play next to him?
No, because that is an unbalanced midfield. You
Depends on how you set it up.
You can't
It's
have
worked in
both
some
of them.
games.
Because-
How can you? You're
and
saying
the reason
bro,
why?
all throughout last season we played Bruno with Ericsson and Casemiro in behind.
Yeah.
If it can work with Ericsson there, it can work with Mount.
No. Because Ericsson is a baller. He knows football. His footballing
can't
brain.
run.
His footballing. It doesn't matter. Busquets can't run.
He does because the whole
a
point,
different
the whole
league.
reason
Jorginho-
why,
no, no,
the
Jorginho
whole
can't
reason
run.
why people are saying that there's a
didn't mind
problem with the
Jorginho
midfield is because Casemiro,
course.
Casemiro sometimes gets exposed.
Yeah.
So that is because Ericsson doesn't have the legs to cover the ground to help Casemiro out after he's gone forward. Mount does.
Okay, but
so it'll just take some time, but it can work.
Mount is not defensively astute like that. And I know
He is
and I
more
know-
than Ericsson.
due to the fact that he has that
The legs,
tenacity
way
about
more
him.
than
Yeah,
Ericsson.
it's the legs. That's it.
Yeah, but-
and what I'm saying is, look, with football, I'm saying Bruno Fernandes, yes, he is your best player. Yes, he is the one who creates chances. Yes, when it comes to
do you
a
think
penalty,
Mount would make more chances than Bruno?
I think give Mount the chance that he deserves.
So to
Give him the chance because we know what he can do at Chelsea.
Yeah.
But you can't give him the chance over Bruno until Bruno does a lot wrong.
No,
Bruno, even this season,
because it's
Bruno's
not-
still been
it's not-
making so many
it's not-
chances.
It's not
I
always.
think
It's not
they-
it's not
I
always
finishing.
It's not always they have to wait until someone does something wrong. Because
So
look,
why would you
can I say
take
something?
Bruno out of the team now?
Because Ferguson would do the exact same thing.
For what? Why?
Because of his attitudes.
Yeah.
Because it's become the thing where it's like at the start when Bruno came in, fantastic, scoring
Yeah.
every other week, assisting every other week. It was amazing. For those first 2 seasons, cool.
Yeah.
But now we're starting to see the sloppy side of Bruno.
The thing
we're starting
is-
to see his attitude come out.
Bro.
And Ferguson is a manager. You know this as well, better than anyone should.
Mm.
Ferguson is a manager, that when he starts seeing those tendencies,
He gets it
yeah,
out.
cool, get rid of it. Guardiola would do the exact
I
same
understand.
thing as well.
It's 2 different things though. If he thought, that the player was disrespecting the club, you're getting out of that team. You're not playing
and
again.
That's
That's one
immediately.
thing.
That's
Hold on.
immediately
That's
cool.
one thing. Yeah, that's straight away. If it's a thing where you're whinging to the referee because you're not getting the decisions, sorry, that's a different thing, bro.
Yeah, but if you're doing that and then losing your head and then that being at the detriment to your team, especially the disgraceful thing that he's did
don't know how
against
is it-
Liverpool.
I don't know how is a detriment to your team. He's had some poor games.
Because when he starts whinging and whining, he starts to lose his head.
Yeah, and
I
as a
understand.
captain, that
As a captain, you can't
I
be doing that.
understand. But what I'm saying is,
He doesn't, yeah.
he's not intentionally doing that as a disrespect to the club. Sometimes he doesn't play well when his emotions aren't there.
And I get
But
it. I'm not saying...
in terms of the chances he's created,
yeah.
he always creates the most chances, bro. There's no way.
So did
There's a
Ozil.
reason why no one drops
Yeah,
him.
so I do
So did
get it.
There's
Ozil.
no.
So
So did
basically,
Ozil. So did Sane that season.
Yeah, what's your point?
Sane
didn't get along. Sane didn't get along with Pep.
I think what
Morris.
Yeah.
Morris didn't need to go.
He
Morris
wanted to
didn't
go.
need to go.
Pep didn't want him to go either. He
Gundogan
wanted to
didn't
go.
need to go.
Pep, bro, these players wanted to go. Pep always wanted these players to stay.
Bro,
he's
look,
the one that's
Cancelo,
begged.
though.
Cancelo, he fell out with the manager.
Yeah,
if
but
Bruno
even-
falls out with the manager, no matter how many goals, how many chances you get out of the club.
I think
Okay,
what Mids is trying to say is those other managers, if those players were not showing what they wanted to, he doesn't mind removing them. So for
Exactly.
him, he'll sell
get
Bruno and try and look in a different
But
direction.
Bruno is showing what the
Yeah.
manager wants to see,
Well, what you're trying to say,
which is creating
yeah,
chances.
what you're
Okay,
trying to say
and-
is you'd keep Bruno and Mount, but you just try and pursue with Mount and sell Bruno.
Exactly, and that's what.
No.
And I'll say that would level the midfield. I think it will give, and also it will give Manchester United a breath of fresh air. With
We'll be creating
signings
less
that I said,
chances, less quality in the
with those.
midfield.
And do you know what it is? Sometimes you need to go through that as a football
2
club.
steps back.
Sometimes you need a reset. You need to
2 steps back, 3 steps forward.
exactly. Sometimes you do need to do that. Sometimes you need to change your way of thinking or change your philosophy.
I'm telling you, the reset needs to be with Bruno at the middle.
We'll let the people decide.
It
Guys,
needs to be with Bruno at the middle.
for those of you that are United fans or, just want to get in on the conversation, let us know who are 2 players that you guys would buy to fix United and who is the 1 player you would sell. I've already said mine. We've said ours. Check out more on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. You'll catch us there. But it's been another video.
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Peace.
Peace.